Well, hello, welcome to a reading of Iliad, well, selections from Iliad Book 2. I've been asked to do this particular one, so I'll start working through. I won't do the catalogue of ships, but I'll read as much as we can get through of Iliad Book 2. Now again, I won't read through the Greek, I'm just going to translate it as we go. And you'll need, of course, to have a good commentary beside you as well as you're going through reading this. So he begins, Aloi men rathioi te kai anares hypokorustai eudon panoikioi. So the other gods, Ara, as you might expect, accordingly, and the aneres for andres, this is just an Homeric form of the nominative plural from aner. So the other gods, as you might expect, and the men who are hypokorustai, this is formed from the verb korusso, meaning to equip. So this is the men who look after, marshallers of the horses, the men who arm or equip the horses. They hudon, they were sleeping, panukioi. This is a nominative because it's agreeing with theoi, but we would see in English as almost adverbial. He's through the entire night. It's the all-night gods and the all-night men, but we would say they slept, panukioi, through the night. And we get a men there, and there's our nice de, but neidumos, numbing sleep, did not take hold of Dia, did not take hold of Zeus. Al hoge, now this is this verb merme rizdo, very common in Homer. It means to toss and turn an idea, to toss an idea around in your mind, to debate almost. So, but he in fact was debating in his mind how Timese he might honour Achilles, or perhaps we would say, and he might destroy many of the Achaeans epineusin at their ships. So he's tossing around in his mind how he might honour, because remember in the earlier bit he has promised Thetis that he will honour her son Achilles, who's been dishonoured by Agamemnon, and how he might destroy many of the Achaeans beside their ships. Heidi de hoi katathumon ariston finate boule. Now the heyday goes with boule. So this council appeared best, hoi, to him, katathumon, in his heart. And the council was pempsai, infinitive from pempo, to send an ulon oneron. You notice the editors put a capital omicron here because this is a personification of dream. So in English you put a capital D, I think. To send an evil or destructive ulos, connected with olumi, destructive dream with a capital D, against Agamemnon, son of Atreus. Kaimin phonesas epia. So he speaking winged words, he addressed min for auton, him, and that means, I think, he's addressing this oneros, this idea of a personified dream with a capital D. So the min's referring back to oneros, or the dream. Basque is an interesting word here. It's an iterative form from bino. The root of bino is ba or bay, and that's the first two letters, and the sk is this iterative form. And ithi is an imperative from Amy Ibo, to go. So it's something, both words really mean the same thing. So it's something like up and go, ule onere, destructive dream with a capital D, to the swift ships, Achaeon of the Achaeans. Elthone, having come as Clesian into the tent of Agamemnon, son of Atreus, Pantamal Atrekios Agaruamen hos epitello. Now this is an infinitive, and in Homer you often get infinitives for imperatives. That's a very common practice in Homer, infinitives for imperatives. Agaruo usually means to speak in the assembly, hence the agora root here, but it does have the more general meaning sometimes of just speak or report. Atrekios is an adverb, accurately or clearly, and the mul is emphasizing that very clearly. So speak all things very clearly, hos, as epitello, I command. So as I enjoin you, as I command you. Thorexai he kelue kare comma ontos akaius pansodie. So another imperative, bid he for auton, bid him. Thorexai, this is from Thoreso, no, I've forgotten what the verb it is. It's an infinitive here, aorist infinitive. It means to armour. So bid him to put armour on the long-haired Achaeans. So bid him to arm, we might say, all the long-haired Achaeans. Pansudie, but this is an adverb here, it's a dative, but it's perhaps being used adverbially here, with all zeal or with all haste, with full force. And it is a dative in origin. The su here from that suo, to hasten. So with all haste or with all force. Notice the enjambment here, he puts it on the beginning of the line to emphasize it. So bid him to arm all of the long-haired Achaeans with haste or with all zeal. Nungar, for now, heloi optative. We have to understand, if he wanted to, he would take with the ken. Heloi, the root is hel, it's from the aorist halon, from aorist of hyreo. Take in the sense of to destroy, often used of killing people or destroying things. So for now he would destroy the city of the Trojans with its Eura Aguian, with its broad streets or broad ways. Uga et amphis Olympia domata econtes thanatoi phrazontes. For the Ugos with the et, for no longer are to the immortals who have the Olympian houses, no longer phrazontai are they thinking amphis, well, separately, or separate things, or thinking apart. So in other words, they're no longer divided. So they no longer think apart, so they're no longer divided. It's just idiomatic here, the phrazontai with amphis. Apegnamsenga pantes here lesomenoi. For Hera, beseeching them, it's almost haranguing them perhaps, but it has the sense of praying or beseeching them. So beseeching Hapantes, all of the gods. Sen literally has bent. This is from epignamto. Literally has bent them, that is, has won them over. So for Hera, beseeching them all, has won them over, and K-de-a, there's an alpha elided here, it's a neuter plural, literally cares. F-haptai, this is a perfect passive here from F-haptomai, or F-hapto, are laid upon. So cares have been laid upon the Trojans. It takes a dative after the F, the epi in F-hapto. So cares have been laid upon the Trojans. Hos vate, thus he spoke, beta ar oneros, and accordingly, the ara, don't forget the little particles, but accordingly, dream, with a capital D, bay went. When, well, it's oneros is masculine, so I'm going to say when he heard this word. Karpelimos to hikonethoas epineas akion. And quickly he went to the Thoas Neas, to the swift ships Akion of the Achaeans. Beidar ep atrede Agamemnona. So he went accordingly to Agamemnon, son of Atreus. Now this is from Kikano, and it's the imperfect. We would just say he was finding him. So he found him. We would say he found him, I think, but it is imperfect. So he found him, Hudont, sleeping in Clisae, in his tent, and ambrosial sleep, it's the subject of it. Kekuth, this is a pluperfect passive here without augment. Pluperfect passive without augment from keo, had been poured around, understand, him. So had been shed or had been poured around him. So ambrosial sleep had been poured around him. Ambrosial, perhaps in the sense of divine sleep, had been poured around him. Stay ar hupe kephales nele io quio oikos. So the subject of stay here from histemi is, of course, the dream. So oneros, the dream, stood accordingly above his head, oikos, likened to the sun. That's a dative there from huios, which is a third declension in earlier Greek. In later Greek it becomes a second declension. So like to the sun, to the Nelean sun, that is the son of Neleus, i.e. that's Nestor. Hang on, it says here Nestor on the next line. So likened to the Nelean son, to Nestor, whom, ton for hon, Agamemnon, there's an epsilon elided here, it's the imperfect from teo, without augment. So whom Agamemnon used to honour most of all among the old men, and the ara is accordingly. So whom accordingly Agamemnon used to honour most of all among the old men, among the elders perhaps, rather than old men might be better. Toimin esamenos, so having been made like to that man, to him, theos oneros, godlike dream, spoke to min for out on to him. Hudes, you are asleep, trios huie da iphronos hippodemoio, the son of strong-minded horse-taming Atreus, so son of strong-minded or warlike, depending on which way you take this route here, a warlike-minded, horse-taming Atreus. U cray panukion hudane. Now again, cray is, in later Greek, you learn cray to be an impersonal verb, meaning something like it is necessary, but originally it was a noun and you had to supply esti, and that possibly still is the case here. So there is no need for a man who is a boulephoron, one who brings counsel, so a man who is a bringer of counsel, to sleep panukion all through the night. A man hoi, to whom laoi, the host, the people, epi tetraphatai. Now this here is the artai. The alpha here is that sonant n. It's ntai. It looks like it's singular, but this in fact is third person plural. It's from epi trepamai, I think. So, to whom the people has been entrusted. All the people have been entrusted. So it's a little bit tricky there, and also upon whom tossa such things. There is a care, memele, from mellow. There is an so upon whom rest so many cares, I think is the meaning of it. So upon whom, so mellow is to be an object of care. So upon whom such things are a concern. Neuter plural singular verb. This will be a perfect here, I think. So just a bit tricky, that line. So to whom the host has been entrusted, or is entrusted, it's third person plural, passive, has been entrusted, and such things have become a concern. Nun demethen xunes oka. Xunes is from imperative, from sun hiemi, to understand. So now, understand, or hearken, or to listen quickly, emethen, probably from emoi, to me. So oka here, swiftly or without delay. So it's understand, or perhaps hearken to me without delay. Dios de toi angelos ami. Now the toi is either for epixoi, or it could just mean indeed. So it's either I am indeed a messenger from Zeus, or I am a messenger from Zeus, toi for you, whichever you like. Hossu anuthen eon mega kadatai al eliare. And he, literally being anuthen su. Now siu for su, s sigma omicron upsilon. And anuthen, it's literally far above you or far away from you. And we get the participle here from the verb to be. So, although being so far above you, kadatai, from kadamai, he cares, mega is adverbial, he cares greatly, and eliare, and has pity. Well, of course, he's lying here. This is far from the truth. And now we get a bit of repetition here, which is always helpful. So he bids you to arm the long-haired Achaeans, literally the Achaeans blooming with hair in respect of their heads, is literally what it is, I think. So he bids you to arm the long-haired Achaeans, pansudie, we had that before, either with full force or with all zeal. For now, this is repetition now, you would take the city of the Trojans with its broad ways or broad streets, for the immortals who have the Olympian houses no longer think apart, so they're no longer divided. For Hera, we had all this section before, so for Hera, beseeching them all, Agamemnon has turned their opinion, so it literally has bent them back, so has won them over, and cares have been attached or fixed or laid upon or laid against the Trojans. Ek dios, from the hand of Zeus. But you hold, this is an imperative, you hold, understand these things in your heart, in your mind, nor may, now that we get an imperative here, nor let forgetfulness, hyreto, nor let forgetfulness take hold of you, or take hold of you, yutan, whenever sleep which is mind soothing. So mel is honey and frein is your mind. So whenever sleep which soothes the mind, and aa is from this is subjunctive here, from hiami, might release set you. So yutan, whenever sleep which is soothing to the mind might release set you. And that's the end of the first part of book 2.